I'm Jenny.
And I'm Amy.
And we're
a Daughter's Love podcast.
So welcome. If you've seen a few things about us, we're brand new. This is our first session. Mm-hmm. And so we're housed under Life's of Polyp. And if you are familiar with that, it is my rare disease advocacy platform for familial adenomatous polyposis and short bowel syndrome. And you'll learn more about that as it connects to my mom, and Amy's mom didn't have it, but we're in the same family. Mm-hmm. So she got lucky.
Yes.
But we have a lot of shared experiences, our moms did, even though they grew up together. They played together quite a bit from what I understand.
First cousins?
Yes. And I always thought my mom played with your mom more than any of the other cousins. Mm-hmm. Is what I was always told. Mm-hmm. So, and we all grew apart, but we reconnected.
As people do.
Yes. And we reconnected. Well, goodness, that must have been kind of early 2010s.
Yes.
And we didn't really stay connected very well. We came up and visited you guys twice.
Yes.
And we were Facebook friends, but then sadly, what really reconnected us is our mothers and their passing. So Amy's mom passed 3 weeks before mine, but they, like I said, we have so many shared things, similarities. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. So my mom had colorectal cancer caused by the FAP. Which is a hereditary colon cancer syndrome. It has a lot more cancers associated with it. But so she had that, and then your mom,
she had breast cancer. Yes.
And so they didn't walk those journeys together, but when Amy and I have been talking, like, it's just so many in our grief, like we've just shared so much in our caregiving experience. So we thought, not only for our own healing.
Exactly.
But we'd share everything with you guys. So we want to share our mom's experiences, their cancer, their life experiences. And by the way, their cancer isn't what killed them. Like, that's not it.
No, my mom was a breast cancer survivor. And it's not the breast cancer that took her. It was Alzheimer's eventually that took her.
And you said that she was a 5-year survivor.
Yes, she was over a 5-year survivor. Yes. So she was totally healthy, cured from that. But yeah, sadly diagnosed with Alzheimer's for about 10 years before she passed.
Oh gosh.
So
was the last 5 years, so after like about the 5-year mark from her breast cancer, is that like, when did you guys start seeing a bigger impact from Alzheimer's?
I would say after she went through the radiation with the breast cancer, it just seemed like her Alzheimer's got really worse after that. She just started really going downhill with her memory and, cognitive functions and everything. So
that's so hard.
It was very hard.
I think it was extremely hard to be the patient with that, but also the family and the caregiver. Like, that is hard.
It's very hard to watch. It's they call it the slow goodbye, and that's really what it is. It's like you lose a little piece of them every day.
Yeah.
And it's a long, sad process, but I'm so glad that we're here and we're going through our grief journey together. And, we do have a lot of the same experiences, and we bounce back and forth with each other all the time in messages. And I'm just really glad we've reconnected.
Me too. Like, I can tell you, like, you and your impact and your just support has been incredible for me. And I love, the family connection, because so I've shared before on Life's of Polyp, where our Daughter's Love podcast is going to be housed, that we have a Cherokee line, and the FAP runs along our Cherokee line. And so it gives me also like another connection to that ancestry. I know I didn't get to grow up in a culture, and I believe you did.
I didn't know. I mean, I know little tidbits here and there,
Right.
you know, but no, I didn't really grow up in the culture.
So it gives me though like a little bit. I feel closer to it,
Absolutely.
even though you don't have extra cultural knowledge necessarily to share with me, and I don't really have any to share with you. But just that I'm like I was so closer to our Caribbeans.
Right. Just knowing, you know, how our grandpas were brothers, and you know the way they were raised. I don't think that they really knew a whole lot about their culture. I mean, you know, you lose a little bit with every generation, I think, but.
And I think that's so what my mom had always told me was that, so that would be and I always do this. I always try to fit you like as another, family line above me. So I'm always like, I don't know. I have issues. As if you follow Lies of Polyp, you know that my cognitive is not the best. But so
Same.
So we're cousins, and then our moms were cousins, and it's their dads that our grandpas that is kind of like our big connection as far as and then it was because like well I guess you did you get to know great grandma?
I didn't. No,
Okay.
I didn't get to know her.
Okay.
I wish I had.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
From what my mom always told me was that our great grandma didn't raise her children, our grandpas, and their other siblings in the culture because it was kind of looked down upon by her husband's family.
Yes.
I don't know how true that is, but that was my mom's understanding.
I was never told that part, that it was looked down because of that. But I have been told, you know, that people, they didn't used to claim as much as what they truly were, and that it was looked down upon at the time.
So my dad and I, we did a lot of our genealogy. And so we're actually, and I know I've heard some controversy about this, so I'm just going to acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
But we're part of the first families of the Cherokee Nation in United Oak. And when I went through like the actual lineage, like we're just a tiny bit more of a fraction than what's on our card.
Yeah.
Just one generation off. We're just a little bit more, but you know, it was just interesting because like you talk about like the people not always claiming as much, or the ones that were doing like the Dawes enrollment, they're like, oh well, they look like this, so they're
yes. And we could delve into that really deeply at one time. Yeah.
So,
there's a lot of controversy around those roles, and like, you know, what people would claim themselves, and then the person doing the roles, you know, oh, you look white, you're white, or you know, you were just at the mercy of whoever was recording that.
You were, and then it's just, well, there's just so much. Like you said, we could really,
could delve into that.
Yeah,
maybe one day.
Yeah, that's what you guys are interested in. We'll take a detour. But yeah, so like I'll share a little bit to my mom's journey, and then so mom was diagnosed. Mom always told me 35.
Okay.
Dad told me this year that it was 34, and I feel lied to.
Yeah.
I've been telling everybody mom was diagnosed with colorectal cancer at 35, but evidently it was 34.
Okay.
It feels weird to say. But so she was diagnosed 3 months after I was born. And so she had to have her colon and her rectum removed. And she had a permanent ileostomy. And so if you, in case others aren't familiar with that, it is where an opening is created in the abdominal wall, and a part of the small intestine is brought out to make a stoma. And so then she had an appliance that would catch her stool, and she lived with that the rest of her life. So she did pretty good. She did have a complication as they wheeled her into recovery, and her stoma had turned black in like that brief of amount of time. So they wheeled her back in, had to do surgery again. She lost some of her small intestine, which led to short bowel syndrome, which I had and my mother has. Both are rare diseases. And she did pretty good. So with FAP, there's always, we have precancerous polyps. So there's always a risk of cancer. And with colon, it's 100% because the polyps are just so many. Eventually, it has to be removed. So later in 94, she had a Whipple, and that was because she was having a FAP polyp and adenoma that was too big to remove or what exactly, but it was going to turn to cancer. And they couldn't just biopsy it out type of thing. So she had a Whipple. And those were the only surgeries she had for FAP.
Wow.
For any cancer or precancer. She was very lucky. And then it wasn't till she developed diabetes, which she was like pre-diabetic anyways, and that Whipple, because it takes part of the pancreas, or, as much of it as it can, pushed her over the edge into diabetes. So that did a lot of different damage over the years. And it wasn't really until about a year and a half before she died that I was like, Mom, your blood sugars are out of control. You're getting UTIs constantly, and I need to step in.
Right.
I was always willing to be there, but Mom was able to handle her stuff well, and she didn't even necessarily need Dad, and she did need Dad. Dad was there, and I was there just as a backup. But after like that year and a half before, I was like, no, like this is. And so we talked about what she needed help with. How I could help her best. And at the time it was kind of being that liaison between her and her doctors. And so I didn't really go to her appointments. Something I learned I wish I had, at least that first one, to meet the doctor and just kind of get that established relationship. And I wish at the end I had started going to them. Dad went to a lot. She usually took her for the end. But so what happened is she was getting UTIs as usual. And I could tell that when she was doing really bad, her cognitive would be off. Like her memory, like you could just tell it was like, I was like, I don't think you're safe to drive today, Mom. Yeah. Like I'm going to drive us. Like it was just, and of course she didn't feel well and everything. And then she started not eating very well. And, so I was expecting, I told Dad, I was like, if Mom stays on the road that she's on, it's going to be like a year, maybe two. Like if things don't change. And we had this whole game plan. We were going to get her infusions because she had been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. So we're like, okay. And her inflammation step was off the mark. Okay, we got to get you on infusions, get that taken care of. We got to get these UTIs figured out. And she had a adenoma in her bile duct. And that was to the spot where it was at. They couldn't remove it. So they would just trim it every 3 months in an ERCP procedure, which was hard. But then that's blocking the flow to the liver. Right. So she was developing liver disease. And so we were like, these 3 things we've got to work on. These are the things that are going to change the trajectory. Little did we know. Right. Little did we know. So, she had a UTI. It was like 2 weeks, before she went in the hospital and never came out. And she got antibiotics and she had a great week and a half. It was it was back to normal. I was like, oh my gosh. And so I remember that Wednesday, all of a sudden things started going downhill. She wasn't feeling as good. Dad could just tell. Thursday, he's like, it's really. Friday, he's like, I think she needs to go to the ER, but she won't go to the ER. I'm like, Mom, go to the hospital. And we've got some dogs around. You just ignore them. And so it was. I went over Saturday morning because Mom always did better if I talked to her in person.
Yeah.
Or on the phone. I could usually convince her to do something. And sometimes she really didn't like it.
My mom was the same way. Some stubborn ladies.
Oh my gosh. So I took her, I went to her and I said, Mom, you got to go to the hospital. And I remember her go, what are they going to do? Give me antibiotics and IV fluids. And I'm like, well, they're going to do more because you haven't really eaten in 2 days.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, if you don't go to the hospital, Mom, you're not going to make it through the weekend.
Right.
Like, this is not, your nutrition is so low. So I convinced her to go to I had to convince her to go to the hospital, go to the one that Dad and I wanted to go to, and go buy ambulance.
That was a lot of convincing.
It was. So we took her in, and we're in the ER, and I had her on my patient portal, so I could see, like, when the labs came back. I got a notification, and I was like, okay, before the doctor comes to tell us anything, and I'm like, Dad, this isn't good.
Yeah.
I was not expecting though that when they said she's in septic shock.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a bed for her at the time, but they were like, I don't think she'll make it if she gets moved across the street to the other hospital section that does have. And so, we thought that we could still save her. She had like a multi-infection in her abdomen. And so, they were doing tests, but her blood pressure couldn't stay up, and she was in so much pain. She evidently had been having ascites, so collection around the liver,
right?
And so I remember that night, like, because mom was one that wanted everything done. She had a zest for life, and I had to tell them, okay, go do the paracentesis, remove that ascites fluid, and I understand that she might die on the table.
Right.
Mom doesn't know anything, but yet Mom was so she was still so sharp, and she'd remember things, and all of a sudden she could hear very well.
Oh.
And then she'd be like, what did you guys talk about? I'm like, that was like an hour ago.
Yeah.
But that was going to get lunch or dinner for us. He didn't realize they were going to take her all of a sudden to do this. So I was there by myself, just like, please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Yeah.
But so we thought, we could get the infection. I knew it would be a hard road. To be able to, if we were going to get out. But, and I made the decision to put her on the ventilator because, in order to get her pain controlled, and her blood pressure not drop, she had to be put on a vent. And she also was having her esophageal muscles were so weak that it was she could barely swallow, and then it would go into her lungs. And so the ventilator would keep it from doing that. And so I was like, this is the only way to have a chance.
Right.
And it was during that time that while she was on the ventilator, we found out she had a type of leak in her gut somewhere that's all this different bacteria is coming from, and she's got all these different types of infections in her abdomen area, but they don't know what the leak is, where it is. They can't fix it.
Yeah.
And if they tried to, even, she wouldn't survive the surgery.
Right.
So then I got to be the one to tell Mom, we can't do so we got moved to a hospice house, and that was the most incredible experience.
Those hospice nurses are amazing. They have a special touch.
They do.
It takes a special person to be a hospice nurse.
It was the perfect. If we had to, and I always say if it had to go the way it was going to go, it went the best way it could. So Dad and I got to be with her in the last 3 days of her life, and I woke up Dad, and I realized Mom was taking her last breath, and we stayed there with her. So, on that note, I would love to hear your mom's story.
Well, I'll tell a little bit about my mom. Like we talked about, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She had a lumpectomy. So she had that surgery, went through, I don't remember how many rounds of radiation. She ended up with some radiation burns. That was pretty uncomfortable. Yeah, she was tired of going through that, but she did survive it. You know, she was over a 5-year survivor. I mean, so she made it through that. She's a very tough lady. But then, yeah, like I said, the decline started pretty much after all of that radiation with the Alzheimer's, and she stayed pretty good at home for a long time, and the goal was always to keep her at home. You know, we never wanted her to have to go into a nursing home. We just thought we could take care of her better at home. My dad was so amazing with all of that. I mean, you know, they would have been married 55 years this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they've been together for a long time. She was, I think, 14 when they got together, 17 when they got married. So yeah, they have an incredible love story. But
they do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And to survive all of that, there's so many changes that people go through.
Yeah. But he took really good care of her at home. I mean, I tried to help out when I could. There towards the end, she just kind of got to where, you know, she didn't want to get around and do a whole lot. Before, she loved to get outside, walk around, pick up rocks. She was always picking up things and saying, you know, what does this look like? And you know, like the hallucinations maybe. It just started progressing to where, you know, she was really going downhill. But in the last few weeks of her life, you could just tell she didn't feel good. She was tired. She was starting to hurt. We had hospice come in. They brought in a hospital bed, and when we got her in that hospital bed, she never got back out of it. So we started the palliative care, you know, the pain medication, the anxiety medicine. And once she went to sleep and lost consciousness, you know, she just basically never fully woke up after that. Hospice told us it would be, I think they said like 10 to 14 days.
Yeah.
And she lasted about 6 after that when they told us that. So it went quicker than we thought.
Yeah.
But I was the one to give her the medicine. There at the end, every few hours, we would have to give her the morphine and the Xanax, and I would have to keep her mouth, you know, moisturized. And that was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. But at the same time, it was such a privilege because, you know, our parents took care of us when we couldn't take care of ourselves. And, you know, what a privilege to see her out. You know, she brought me into this world, and I saw her on her way out. And so that, I know that sounds kind of weird, but it was a very special time. It was a special time between us. You know, just setting my alarm and getting up every few hours and just talking to her. And I know she could hear me, you know, and just saying, I would just tell my kids, say everything to Nana that you need to say.
Yes.
Make sure you leave nothing left unsaid. Just if you feel silly, you know, it doesn't matter. She can hear you.
Yeah.
Just tell her everything you need to say. Tell her how good of a Nana she was. I mean, she was. I have 3 boys, and she was an amazing Nana. But yeah, those last few days and nights were really some special times, just for the 2 of us. And I had given her some medicine at midnight that last night. It was actually my birthday.
Oh gosh.
Yes, it was my 49th birthday.
I don't that
And
connection.
yeah, and so yeah, my birthday is May 22nd, and everybody kept saying, they were kind of whispering around, I hope she doesn't pass on Amy's birthday. And I'm like, you know what? She's ready. If she does, it's okay. I'm okay with it. But she made it to midnight, and we were all kind of joking, she didn't want to miss the party.
Yeah.
She just didn't want to miss the party. She didn't want to miss out. So I gave her last dose of medicine at midnight, told her I loved her, told her all the things. I was supposed to set my alarm at like 4 to give her next dose of medicine. I slept through my alarm, and my dad woke me up, and he said, will you come check her? He said, I think she's gone. And so I went into the living room, and I said, yeah, Dad, she's gone. But yeah, so she waited the day past my birthday. She waited. It's like she wanted to be there with me for my birthday.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah, so I think she just wanted to stay there for the party. I mean, that we had a house full. People were in and out. But yeah, I was very grateful to be there the last few days. Yeah. I'll always remember it. It was a really special time. I mean, a very painful time, but I think for my healing, it really meant a lot to me.
And that's how I feel exactly. I feel too. Mm-hmm. And I didn't, oh my gosh, I didn't make that connection. Like, that's another similarity in our stories. Like, because Mom died on Father's Day. And I told Dad that she wanted to give us one last Father's Day.
Yeah. And I know that they just knew that. It's like they just, to me, subconsciously, they knew that, and they wanted to be there for that day. And then I just felt like then she could let go. And she was ready, and she let go. Oh my God. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like, it gave me chills.
Yeah, it does me too.
Oh, and I had like your birthday and her death date in my phone.
Yeah.
That is, I'm so glad you shared that. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was right after my birthday, so I was glad to have her there for my birthday, And I would have been okay if she passed on my birthday, but I think she just waited, and I think she waited till I went to sleep, and she knew everyone was in bed, and she felt like her work here was done, and she could let go.
Absolutely. I think I agree with you. Like, I think they choose their time.
I think they do.
Some people, they want to be by themselves. Some people want certain people. I've seen that so many times. And hear so many stories. I think I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
She knew what she was doing.
Absolutely. They're in control. And it was like the hospice nurses would come in and check her, and we're like, okay, what do you think? How much longer, you always want to know a time, like, and we never know our time, but, we're thinking, okay, what do you think? Another day or two or what? And they're like, you know what? She's the one in control. She's the boss of this. She's doing it her way. She's going to go out on her own terms. And that's exactly what she did. And, I look back and I tell everybody this, it's like, she was at home. She was asleep. She was surrounded by family and friends, who had been in and out, but then she waited until the house was quiet. She went out on her own terms.
Yeah.
And what better way to go to me? I mean, let me be at home with my family. Let me not be in pain. Let me be in a comfortable bed. And there's not much better death than that. I think if there's any such thing as a good death,
right?
I think she had that.
I think so too, and I do feel like that's. I want to go in my sleep.
Absolutely.
Not feeling pain.
Yeah.
And I think
no pain.
Everybody so many people got to see her.
Yes.
Before.
Yes.
Like, so that's great for their healing too.
Very much. To be able to say your goodbyes, and to be able to say, the things that needed to be said,
Yeah.
you know.
She got to be in on the party, like you said,
Yeah.
and then she was tired.
She was ready.
She had her fun.
She was ready. Yeah. She was a stubborn lady.
Oh my God.
I mean, yeah.
You know, I bet they got that from their dad.
Absolutely.
So it makes me wonder then if our great grandma or our great grandpa or both were our grandpas and their siblings. So I bet they all were.
I think so.
The stories I've heard,
I think so.
I think they were all ornery and stubborn.
Very ornery. I think they were all very set in their ways, very opinionated. You know, yeah, very, very tough people.
Yes.
I mean, my mom was such a tough lady, so tough, and her dad, my grandpa. I mean, they just don't come any tougher. Like those guys were just tough.
There's a picture I have of my grandpa, and he's in his army uniform, and he's just mean mugging it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that man would have punched a shark on the nose without even thinking about it. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very ornery, my grandpa, I have so many memories of him. I mean, we could delve into that too, but just, he was ornery, and I mean, but he always felt so loved.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just so loved.
My grandpa, like, he loved babies.
Yes.
He loved babies. Which is always kind of like, when you look at, like, this side of them, you're like, oh, and then like, oh, but you're just a big teddy bear.
Absolutely. Yeah. My grandpa was a big teddy bear. He'd do anything for anybody. Yeah.
Such good memories.
Good memories.
And I feel the same way too about like the privilege of taking care.
Mm-hmm.
Especially this. It was, well, I think I've shared with you, like, I wanted my mom back just for an hour, just so I could take care of her again.
Right.
You know, and I realized that I've been thinking about this off and on. So when she was in the hospital, and we hadn't put her on hospice yet, but we knew that's what we were going to do.
You're right.
She was in the hospital, and so she's conscious. She's off. I think she was off the ventilator maybe at this point, maybe. I don't remember exactly. But anyways, did she need her nails trimmed? No. Did I decide that's what needed to be done? Yes.
Yes.
And the entire time I'm doing this, and she had some thick finger and toenails. It was hard to do, but I was determined. And when I kept going, and I think off and on for the last year. And I'm like, why did I do that? I knew there was no point in that. They weren't like overly done, like overly grown. She's gonna go on hospice. She didn't want to be embalmed, so like nobody gets to see her. Right. Like, why am I doing this? And I like realized over like the last week, I'm like, I just wanted to take care of her. Yeah. I wanted to do something for her, and it was unnecessary as far as functionality. Right.
But to her, it probably meant a lot. Yeah. I mean, I did little things to take care of my mom too. And, you know, I kept thinking she would not want people staring at her right now, you know, in this hospice bed. She would probably be saying, Amy, why is everybody here? You know, like she would be like, you know, make sure I have a bra on. I mean, you know, but I can hear her voice in my head, you know, sometimes just being ornery and getting on to me. But yeah, just little things that made you feel like you were really doing something for their comfort, and, you know, just making sure she was clean, her face was wiped off, you know, just comfort. Putting a wet washcloth on her head, you know, just when the body's going through all those changes, the temperature changes and just everything. I mean, our bodies are made to die. Our bodies know what to do. And, you know, like I said, with hospice nurses, I'm so grateful for them, just for the way they educated us on what was going to happen next, or, you know, okay, this is going to happen next. This is another sign, you know. I mean, just, and then I educated myself on, you know, the process of dying and everything. So I just had to do something to feel like I was preparing myself a little bit better. Like I knew, you know, like, okay, what do we expect next? And That way I could kind of explain it to everyone around us because it made my dad really nervous to try to give her any kind of medication or, anything at the end. And so I was the one, like I said, I took that on and I was happy to do it. So
it is. And I know you had that special time too. You were saying like the first night in the hospice house, Dad was exhausted.
Yeah.
And they had pets to take care of and stuff. So he went home and took care of things and stayed the night at home. So I stayed with Mom, and it was the first time I stayed with Mom by myself during this entire process. If I stayed, Dad stayed with me. But I felt okay to be by myself and with Mom. And so we had a mommy-daughter time.
Yeah.
Like, I talked to her, and I swear it was like she was talking to me. Like, and that was one thing like I had shared on her Facebook page for our Daughters Love podcast about this episode about telepathy and things like that. And it was like that. I find it's a podcast, Telepathy Tapes. And I find it fascinating.
Oh,
there's controversy about it.
I'll have to check that out.
It's but they had an episode about like reincarnation and just like after death and what they talk about these these kids who are nonverbal, and they did these studies and things. And anyway, so they say that there's telepathy, and regardless or not, it really hit with me. And I realized, like, I think that's what Mom was doing. Like, it was like she was in my head and we were just talking. It was like a counseling session. And then I played, like, home VHS videos for Mom, and I'd tell her what was going on.
That's
and
awesome.
I played, like, her favorite songs, her favorite type of songs, and I danced around her bed and, like, sang,
Oh, I love it.
It was like that special time of just you and your Mom.
It's precious.
Yeah.
It's very precious. Speaking of music, I mean, after, everybody left, because we had people coming in and out all the time, but when it was just, the immediate family, I said, we're going to put on some Hank Jr. for Nana. Yeah. Because she would like that. So I got out the Hank Jr. CDs and, played her some of her favorite music. And I was like, just she can hear it. She can hear it. And, I would want someone to play my favorite music at the end. I mean, just all the little things, Yeah, it was really special.
It sounds like it. Oh, and you guys were all there with her. Like you said, the immediate family. So that's like a cool thing together that you guys get to share.
Right. I told each one of my boys, just take a little bit of time with Nana, just one-on-one, and tell her everything you need to tell her.
Yeah.
And they all did, privately. We each had our private time. So I think that's important. I mean, a lot of people don't get that, with the death. They don't get that preparation or, that time. So I really cherish that.
Yeah. And I know it happened sooner than what was necessarily expected. So that makes it even more special. Because, like you said, it's hard to ever know. Like my mom, they basically were kind of like, well, with her heart rate that she has right now and whatever, she shouldn't really technically be alive still. And then it would be, I remember anytime her breathing pattern would change, I'd be on it, watching, and I'd be like, her breathing, she changed.
Is this it?
I'm like, just so you know, like, there was one time that I was like, I think she's actually hurting, like, like I could tell, and but anytime there was a change, I'd be like, hey, just so you know, there's a change. And they'd probably go, but they tell me like, oh, I think it's like, minutes to hours or whatever. But Mom, she lasted like 8 hours after they were like, it's minute to minute.
Wow.
And I swear part of it though, so we were in the hospital and all her stats would be going down. And I'm like, okay, like it's going to be. And then she'd shoot them up.
Mm-hmm.
They were so high for someone who's on their deathbed.
Yeah.
When she went to the hospice house, it was like, I'm like, I know, like 12 hours ago they were this. But I think she heard me and she was just like, no.
Yeah, not yet.
There was one time like when her breathing changed and like it was probably like the day before, like late or something. And I sat there and I stared at her for 3 hours straight, like just studying her. And then I finally go, you're probably tired of me staring at you, aren't you, Mom? So you're not going to do anything, are you? And so I was like, okay. I can tell you're irritated with me.
Yeah. And she heard you.
So I relaxed after that, but I did for 3 hours straight. I'm just like, I think it's, and I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to miss it.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, okay, you're telling me you're irritated.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to sit back, quit staring at you.
She's like, leave me alone.
Yeah, she was. Like, oh my God, like, you're literally just staring at me. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I am.
Yes. Yeah.
Stubborn.
I did that too. I just had to tell her, Mom, it's okay. It's your time whenever you're ready. Just whenever you're ready, let go. We're okay. I think sometimes they have to hear that we're okay.
Oh,
we're going to be okay.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's definitely a journey.
It is. I had with my grandpa when I went, last time I saw him, I went in and I was holding his hand and I gave him that permission to go.
Right.
And he squeezed my hand and then he died the next day.
Yeah.
And one of my great uncles, and this is on my grandma's side, so not our family line, but when I was down there for his, when he was starting to die, and I told him that I gave him that permission, and I remember it was, he did this at me, and I'm just like, and I'm pretty positive, if I remember correctly in my timeline, it was the next day.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's meaningful for them to hear them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're going to go on their own terms, and definitely your mom.
Yeah.
Did that. And I think that's allowing them to do that is so important for us, for the left behind.
Yeah. I mean, they're the ones in charge. They had to be the ones in charge of, when to let go, when they were ready.
That was a hard thing for me because the first night, like we put her on hospice, especially with her stats, like going down, like I begged her to go ahead and go. And every time I would do that, she'd pop them back up again.
Yeah.
And we had the same nephrologist, the same kidney doctor, and she came by that next morning to say goodbye to my mom. And I was talking to her and stuff, and she goes, don't rush your mom. Just enjoy her while you have. She's working on things, and it's going to take as long as she needs it to take. Quit rushing her and just enjoy her. And I'm like, okay. And it changed everything for me. And I was just like, okay, my job is to just enjoy Mom. Just enjoy Mom while I have her.
Right.
And I did. And then she lasted like the 3 days.
Henri.
Yeah. But I'm so grateful. Like, I think that was Mom's plan. Like, I think she knew, like, I need to get to the hospice house. And there I'll be it'll be calm and quiet and safe and peaceful, because it was just, it was just mainly me and Dad. And my mother-in-law did get to come up for a little bit and sit with us to be there for me and Dad. And they had a good relationship, my mom and mother-in-law.
That's awesome.
So it was, I think she knew, like, that's where she needed to be for herself and for me and Dad. Because she knew she'd be safe and secure there. And it was just, and she waited.
Yeah.
She waited.
And
I'm so grateful she did.
Yes.
Like, it was a game changer. It really was. I just didn't see the plan. But I'm also so grateful that our doctor, like, came in and, like, was like, quit. I'm like, okay. It changed everything. But that's why, like, that allowance.
Yes.
Is huge.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, we have so many things we can talk about.
A lot.
So much. Like, I went to explore more of like your mom's cancer experiences. Like, we want to share stories and life experiences and just, you know, a grief, our healing, our family. Like, I think it'd be cool one day we have guests on to share about theirs. Our plan is to record once a month. So we'll air an episode once a month. And grief is chaos. So
very much.
We are not on a deadline here.
No.
We have learned a lot more about self-care this last year.
Yes.
Year and a half.
Yes.
And so we both have very busy lives, and we will do this when we can.
When we can.
And you'll just have to be patient with us, because I think that was a big thing for both of us. The self-care that's needed, and the grace. It's just so.
Yeah.
I hope we leave you hungry for more episodes, but be patient with us.
Yes, please be patient.
We are not doing a deadline on any of this.
No. We're not on a timeline. Grief has no timeline.
We've got our goal set, and but yeah, so that's our plan. Right now we do have Facebook. It's a Daughter's Love podcast. We will be posting those things there. These will be airing on YouTube on Life's a Polyp YouTube channel. We'll be putting it on Spotify, and it should be going on some other platforms for podcast platforms. And then we'll be also posting them on Life's a Polyp Facebook page. And you can always find links to all of these things easy peasy at lifesapolyp.com. And we'll put all that in the show notes and everything. If you have questions, you want to share your stories with us, things, anything, whatever, we would love to hear your thoughts, your questions, everything. So yeah, join us on this journey. We're a year and a half-ish into our grief here, losing our moms, and so who knows what's all going to come next, but we want you guys with us. So
thanks for having me.
This is not me. Oh my gosh. You gotta tell her. You gotta tell her.
Thanks for putting this together.
There we go. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank
and
you.
listening. And stay with us.
I'll see you next time.
That's right. That's right.